Chapter 8, Lesson 2, Earth and Moon. How does the moon appear? On July 20th, 1969, astronaut Neil Armstrong was the first person to walk on the moon. Armstrong sent this message back to Earth. The surface is fine and powdery, like much of the high desert of the United States. The moon has no atmosphere because there is no atmosphere, there are no winds, and there is no weather on the moon. There is no air to block radiation from the sun or for astronauts to breathe. Temperatures can reach as high as 253 degrees Fahrenheit, 123 degrees Celsius, and drop below negative 451 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 233 degrees Celsius. How did Earth's visitors to the moon survive? They wore spacesuits to protect them from the changes in temperature and from radiation. They also carried containers of oxygen to breathe. The craters on the moon's surface were made over billions of years as rocks traveling through space hit the moon. Vast plains cover other parts of the moon. Early astronomers called these plains Maria, a Latin word meaning seas. Valleys or rills cut grooves in the moon's surface. In other places, mountains rise thousands of meters. Phases of the moon. From Earth, you can only see the parts of the moon's surface that are lit by sunlight. If you looked at the moon from out in space, you would see that the side of the moon that faces the sun is always lit by sunlight. As the moon revolves around Earth, different amounts of light reflect from the moon's surface, and the moon appears to change shape. During a full moon phase, an observer on Earth can see the entire half of the moon that is lit by sunlight. During a new moon phase, the lit side of the moon is facing away from an observer on Earth. A phase of the moon is the appearance and shape of the moon as you see it at a particular time. The phase depends on the location of the moon in relation to Earth and the sun. The time from one phase of the moon until the next time the moon reaches the same phase is 29.5 days. Be sure to look at the great diagrams on the moon phases provided on the next page. What causes eclipses? What is happening when a dark shadow seems to move in front of the sun or when the moon dims or changes color? These events are called eclipses. An eclipse occurs when one object moves in front of another object in space. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes directly between the sun and Earth. When this happens, the moon casts a shadow on Earth. People on Earth see darkness move across the sun. A solar eclipse can only occur during a new moon phase. A lunar eclipse occurs when the moon moves into Earth's shadow and is no longer reached by direct sunlight. This happens when Earth is between the sun and the moon. Lunar eclipses happen only during full moon phases. A full moon and new moon occur once a month, but eclipses happen more rarely. What makes eclipses occur less frequently? The moon's orbit moves above and below a straight line between Earth and the sun. Because of these differences in its orbit, the moon rarely travels exactly between Earth and the sun. Look at the way the sun, the moon, and the Earth line up in lunar and solar eclipses. In both cases, there is an area where the light from the sun is completely blocked. This area is called an umbra. Around the umbra, there is an area where light is not completely blocked. This is called a penumbra. In solar eclipses, the shadow of the moon causes the umbra and the penumbra. If you are on Earth in the umbra during a solar eclipse, darkness covers the entire face of the sun. This is called a total solar eclipse. If you are on Earth in the penumbra during a solar eclipse, darkness covers only part of the sun. This is called a partial solar eclipse. In lunar eclipses, Earth's shadow causes the umbra and penumbra. Lunar eclipses may also be total or partial, depending on whether or not the moon is in the umbra or in the. What causes the tides? The pull of gravity between the moon and Earth and between the sun and Earth causes a bulge in the surface of Earth. On the part of Earth's surface that is rocky, we do not notice this pull. However, the pull can be seen in the oceans and other large bodies of water. This pull causes the tide, or the rise and fall of the ocean's surface. The pull of gravity causes ocean water to bulge on the side of Earth facing the moon. A matching bulge occurs on the side of Earth that is opposite the moon. This causes high tides at both locations. Low tides occur halfway between the high tides. As Earth rotates, these bulges move across the oceans. Most oceans have 2 high tides and 2 low tides every day. About twice a month, near the new and full moon phases, the sun and moon line up and pull in the same direction. This causes higher high tides and lower low tides, called spring tides. The tides with the smallest range between high and low tides occur between these two spring tides. The more moderate tides are called neap tides. They take place when the sun and moon pull in different directions, and their poles partly cancel each other. Neap tides occur during the first quarter and last quarter moon phases. Don't forget to check out all the awesome text features on this page as well as the lesson review before continuing.